Hey everyone, and welcome to Chandrini Yoga. In this video, we're going to be learning the full yogic breath, a breathing technique or pranayama that I often incorporate in my yoga classes. The full yogic breath is a deeper type of breathing technique that engages all three lobes of the lungs and helps increase lung capacity. It also helps squeeze out any stagnant air that we may have been accumulating. It provides the internal organs with some gentle stimulation, and it also helps relieve stress, refresh the mind, and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, bringing about a calmer, more well-balanced state of being. The full yogic breath is also known as the three-part breath because we are breathing into three different areas of the body gradually. So we start breathing with a deep diaphragmatic breath into the abdomen, and once we've reached maximum expansion, we move up to the lungs, and we allow the ribcage to expand to give as much space as possible. Once again, when we've reached maximum expansion, we're going to be breathing into the collarbones, the highest area of the lungs, to ensure that we are utilizing them completely. After this, we will reverse the process and exhale gradually in three parts again. Before you attempt the full yogic breath, you should be familiar with and able to perform diaphragmatic breathing. I have a different video on this, so if you need to, please go ahead and give it a watch before coming back to prepare for the practice of the full yogic breath. Before we move into the actual practice, I would also like to give an overview about the mechanics of the cues and instructions that I'm going to be giving you as we perform this type of breath. And I think it's important to understand visually what is happening in your body. So as we all know, when we say belly breaths, the air is not really going into our belly. We use this expression to indicate that we are lowering our diaphragm, the muscle at the bottom of our lungs, lowering the diaphragm and pushing the belly out in order to make space inside for the lower end of the lungs to expand. The way that this works, and I love this analogy that I learned from a friend using a toy syringe that I have borrowed from my kids, is that the diaphragm works pretty much like this handle of the syringe. So as it moves down towards your belly, the air starts to fill the lungs as much as we can. In the same way as the diaphragm squeezes the air up, in the same way we push the air out of the syringe. So for the full yogic breath, what we're doing is first we push the diaphragm all the way down for a deep abdominal breath. Fill the lower end of the lungs with air, and then we move to the rib cage. We expand the rib cage as well to make space, continue expanding, and move up all the way to the collarbone. And at this point, our lungs are completely full. Now, I often see discrepancies in the way that the exhalation part of the full yogic breath is described. Some people will say that you exhale from your collarbone first, and then the lungs, and then the abdomen. In my school, the way that I was taught is that you exhale from the belly, from the lungs, and then from your throat or the collarbone. I think personally that both ways are describing the same process, and here's why. I believe that when you describe the process as exhaling from the collarbone, from the lungs, and from the belly, what you are describing is the air that goes out of your body and the order in which you exhale that air out. So naturally, when we push up, even with the syringe, the first part of the air that is going to leave the syringe is the top. We are pushing from the bottom, but the air is leaving from the top first, and then the middle, and then at the end, we are going to push the rest of the air out. So I believe in this case, we would be describing that the collarbone air is leaving the body first, and then the lungs, and then the belly. And it's true, and it makes sense. On the other hand, the way that my school explains this is that you exhale from the belly first, and then the lungs, and then the throat. And it also makes sense. However, what my school is describing is not the order in which the packets of air are leaving the body, but rather the order in which you need to engage your body in order to expel that air out. So what is actually happening when I say exhale from the belly, from the lungs, from the throat is I'm saying lift your diaphragm from the belly, squeeze the lungs, and then finish up at the throat. So in theory, your body is making the same movement, lifting the diaphragm, squeezing the lungs, exhaling from the throat. Moving on to the performance of the full yogic breath, if you've already practiced with me in a class, you probably already know that I instructed as inhaling into the belly, the lungs, the throat, and exhaling from the belly, the lungs, and the throat. Let's take it one step back and let's start just with taking 10 diaphragmatic breaths. Just 10, just breathing into the abdomen. We can place both hands on the belly and just breathe into the stomach and feel your hands moving. Inhale, the belly comes out as we push the diaphragm down. Exhale, the navel falls back towards the spine. 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 6. Inhale. Exhale, 7. Inhale. Exhale, 8. Inhale. Exhale, 9. Inhale. And exhale, 10. Let's take a moment here. And now we're going to do the same thing, isolating the rib cage, just the lungs. So we're going to be breathing on the upper part of our torso. Breathing into the lungs for 10 times again. Breathing in the lungs, you can place the hands on the rib cage, around your waist, whatever it feels best, just to make sure that we're not now focusing on the belly. It's okay if the belly comes in just a little bit. And exhale. Inhale. Feel that expansion as the rib cage opens. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Gently make a conscious effort to expand the rib cage if it doesn't come naturally to you. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 6. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. And take a moment to release. Now, if it doesn't come quite naturally yet, please feel free to take a moment, take more time to do isolations of diaphragmatic breathing and rib cage, thoracic breathing. You can practice it as much as you want. We will put the pieces together now. So we will take a deep diaphragmatic breath first and expand the abdomen as much as we can. And when we feel like we cannot take any more air in, instead of moving on to the exhale, which is what we would normally do, we are going to transition into the rib cage and we're going to expand the rib cage and keep breathing into the lungs. So as you can see, we are putting the pieces together. Once we feel like we can't expand the lungs anymore, again, resist that urge to immediately exhale. Let's take just a little bit more of air up in the throat. Even lift maybe the clavicles, the shoulders a little bit if you'd like. Of course, do not hunch all the way, but you can feel free to lift the clavicles, make a little bit of space for the air. We'll hold here for 1 second, and then we will start the exhale by lifting gently the diaphragm, by bringing the belly in so that it pushes the air out. Let's do 5 repetitions together. You can keep the hands on your legs, on your knees, wherever it's comfortable. And you can also do this lying down if that feels better for you. Make sure that your spine is straight. And we'll begin breathing in through the nose into the belly. You can also place the hands on the belly. Let's try that maybe. Inhale. Once you've reached that expansion, keep inhaling into the lungs. Maybe move the hands to the rib cage. Don't let the belly go in here. Once you've expanded the rib cage, take some more air into the collarbone. 1 second. And exhale, gently bring the navel in and allow the air to leave your body. Squeeze in the belly, squeeze in the lungs, emptying them all the way. 4 more. Inhale. The length of your breath doesn't have to be the same as me. You build more capacity as you go. 3 more. Inhale. Inhale. You are now ready to continue practicing the full yogic breath on your own. I hope that this video has served you, that you have found it helpful and useful. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down below in a comment. If you'd like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe to my channel so that we can continue practicing together. Thank you.